Parents, when you take your kids to the movies, tell them to shut the fuck up beforehand.
Otherwise, they'll get an elbow right in the bathroom.
Speaking of which, we gotta go. I think the police are coming.
Yeah, there's, between the drag racing and the child abuse, we gotta go.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. For so many years, Shang thought he had escaped his past. Little did he know that the past was soon catching back up to him. Now tangled back into his father's organization, Shang has to decide whether or not he wants to take his place by his father's side or break free once again and forge his own path.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Keystone Film Review. We just watched Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
And The Legend of the Ten Rings, the latest in Marvel's lore. Disney's experiment to quote Bob Chapek, which is kind of a fucked up thing to say.
It is pretty fucked up.
But yeah, we done synced it, and starring.
We already forgot.
God damn! It's directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. I believe I got the order of his names right. Starring Simu Liu. Awkwafina, our love Awkwafina, Tony Chu Wai Long, Manger Zhang, Michelle Yeoh is in there, Wai Young is in there, the good old landlord of Kung Fu Hustle,
And Benedict Wong,
who is, dare I say, the best Benedict.
Ooh,
You didn't hear it from me.
Hot take.
You didn't hear it from me. No, I just like Benedict Wong's hilarious.
He is great.
I love Benedict Wong, and I was so glad to see him in this. But yes, great Asian representation throughout this entire thing. Where do we start?
We might
Other
as
than
well
the fucking kid talking.
Yeah, the kid. We might as well just start right from the get-go of the experiment itself. I didn't really read too much into that. Who exactly?
Bob Chapek?
Yes.
The CEO of Disney, during a distribution call, called Shang-Chi their little experiment because it was their first big Marvel movie that was strictly theatrical release exclusive. Black Widow was a mix of theatrical and Disney Plus. Pretty much everything was a mix of that.
So it wasn't taken as like an Asian experiment, like we're gonna try this with the
no.
Okay. That's what I thought.
However, now I may be grasping at straws here. This is just something I noticed. It might mean absolutely nothing, but Mulan was their first Disney Plus experiment. Raya and the Last Dragon was their first simultaneous streaming and theatrical release experiment, and then this. It's their first theatrical exclusive experiment. Connection? All Asian representation movies.
Coincidence?
Coincidence? Maybe. Who knows? But I think that is rather suspect.
Yeah, it is very...
But again, I could be grasping at straws. It's just something I noticed, and especially after he called Shang-Chi their experiment. We digress. Let's talk about the movie. Let's focus on the great performances.
From going from that, it didn't exactly feel as if it was an experiment.
Yeah. It was more a distribution
Not saying that
experiment.
those were a connection, but it didn't feel like an experiment in any way. The representation was...
Hey guys, just as is my life, every time I start to get focused, well, things around me get unfocused, it looks like. So sorry, but the duration of this review is just going to be unfocused blur from basically here on out. So sorry about that. Enjoy.
So there, and so solid. I mean, just from the cast alone, the chemistry they all had together, and just the movie all of itself was really good.
Yes.
Really a lot of fun. Everybody was having fun. Just so much comedic chops throughout each character, too. It's not just like one person. Awkwafina was just the golden goose or anything like that. But the golden goose. It was just a really, really fun movie. And I didn't expect... I'm not going to say I didn't expect that much. I didn't know anything about Shang-Chi. So... It was hard to expect anything, but I came out of it very pleased.
Yeah.
Very happy.
I knew even less, probably, than you.
No, I think this one we were actually on the same page.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for people who are aware, I always have to put these disclaimers in Marvel reviews.
Put it in there.
Marvel is not my thing. If that is your thing, that is great. You are not going to hear me rave and rant about how great Marvel is, because I just don't believe that it's true for my opinions personally. If you think that, that's fantastic. I'm glad for you. You found something that you love. But just remember that and take my opinions with a grain of salt if you love Marvel, because I am not the demographic for Marvel. I just couldn't care less. That being said, this was the best Marvel movie in a very long time. Probably Thor Ragnarok for me.
Yeah.
They're so different that you can't even compare Thor Ragnarok
For
and
me
Shang-Chi.
as well.
For you as well. But you can't really compare the two. So Thor Ragnarok was more just goofy fun.
Yeah, they're completely different elements.
Yeah, completely different elements, completely different tones. So but as far as serious Marvel movies, yes, it has comedic.
It wasn't strictly relying on comedy.
Yes, where Thor Ragnarok pretty much was. But with that being said, this is probably the best non-strictly comedic Marvel movie.
And it didn't.
Even longer, but at least 10 years probably.
It didn't feel as generic as every other Marvel movie either.
Yes,
it did have its tropes, but other than that, it didn't feel as generic, and it felt more of a real movie than it did a Marvel movie.
And it was a breath of fresh air to not see a Russo Brothers shot. My biggest problem with the Russo Brothers, I know everyone loves them because of what they did for Avengers and Captain America and all that, but their shot choices are very boring in my opinion, whereas this used distance close-ups. It used an array of things to make it a very interesting, visually pleasing film, whereas the Russo Brothers is very just straightforward, which for most things doesn't really, if it was a straight drama, that wouldn't really matter. If it was just a talking drama, just straight cut, reverse, whatever, that wouldn't matter. But it's an action movie. You got to have fun with it, the camera with that. And they absolutely did with this. There's a lot of really cool shots in this, and the action sequences in general, great choreography,
fantastic choreography
with the fight sequences. It just was a very well put together film from Destin Daniel Cretton, who is an underrated director in my opinion.
Not for long.
Not for long. Well, the thing that bothers me about Marvel movies, and this too, is that everyone is going to know about Destin Daniel Cretton from this movie, when he's made such great movies like Short Term 12. He's made Mercy, or Just Mercy, sorry, and there's another one too that I can't remember. But he's a great director, and I think that this is going to overshadow that, and then people are going to see that he did all those movies, but not kind of think that Marvel saved him from those kinds of movies when those movies are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Simu Liu, who is obviously the driving force behind this, even before it got made, he was pushing to get this role.
Yeah, he immediately went to Twitter and was like, "Yo, when are we gonna do this?" And they were like, "Well, how about now?" And he was just like, "Oh, you guys are serious?" So yeah, it kind of just was a banter at first, and then it just jumped into it, and they're like, "Why not? Sure, let's go." Yeah,
and he's great in this. And another thing I love about this is it takes a lot of actors who are known for a lot of things in China and Asian film in general. Mainly, and I knew this, and you knew this. Well, the dad of Shang-Chi in this, who is the primary villain, I guess, he is in the movie Hero. Then there is a character who is the master of the town. I don't know what they exactly call him, but he is the landlord in Kung Fu Hustle. I was very pleased to see that. And obviously Michelle Yeoh, and just a lot of great Asian actors in this. Benedict Wong, but he's English as well. So
it was a very, very great cast. Visually, it was super striking. And speaking of striking, for me specifically, a lot of the blows during the choreography and such, I felt those punches.
Oh yeah.
And like, I mean, even like certain scenes where like they're using like the scenery around them, I felt I was like, ooh, that's gonna hurt. Ooh, that's gonna not feel good on your hands. You better watch out. Maybe it's just my old age and just knowing.
Yeah, and the way they moved too didn't feel fake really. No. Whereas a lot of like the Iron Man fights with Thor and everything, it's all very
practical.
Well, no, that's not. Practical. This is practical. In those, it's very video gamey, where it's just like you don't feel it because it's not real.
There's no scientific beams coming from chests and stuff
and
like that.
This has some of those as well, but it grounds it in a reality in a way, as dumb as that might sound.
Between some dragon scales and magical rings.
Some dragon scales. 1 second here. Sorry.
I'm scared.
Oh, shit!
Ah! There was a magical gust of wind that moved the camera. Who knows what that was? Wow, spoopy.
Oh, wow! What else can we say about this, really?
The only real negative that I had with it is that in certain instances, there's two or three things that I didn't like. One is that it kind of goes with every Marvel trope where there's always the hero and the villain are pretty much the exact same characters, kind of, but swapped.
Yeah.
With
to the point where even their colors are opposite on the primary color.
Always are either gold or they're purple, as in like the good and bad, which always happens. But like, besides that, I feel like the dad could have had a little bit more humanity put into him, like a little bit more.
They tried.
Then they did try, and I liked where they were going, but
it was too little, too late.
It just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Throughout, and the sister was the same way for me. Is where, she just had so much like angst that's all she had, and there wasn't more to that other than like these connections with Shang. And that was it. And I just wish, as far as the family went, it was a dysfunctional family. But like, could have grasped for a little bit more there as a family, because it was there. They just didn't give it to us the whole way.
Yeah.
And I wish they did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my biggest flaw is with that. Between the dad, the hero tropes, and the sister. But besides that, I really loved everything about it. And I'm sure there's something I'm missing, and I'm going to hate myself for not saying it. But that's for down the road, I guess. Whatever.
But yeah, I would agree. Other than Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, and Awkwafina's character, Katie, I forget what her Chinese name is in this. They say it one time.
Yeah. It's Ray something.
Ray. They are... Other than those two, all characters are very two-dimensional. Like you said, they're archetypes, essentially, where it's just like... They only have one thing. Yes, the dad character, he does get more depth as it goes, but it's too little too late in a way. It's definitely something that I feel Marvel, as you said, that's all they do. Is that other than the main characters, everyone is two-dimensional.
I remember what I was going to say. From Black Widow... This here is the point where everything's going to start getting crazy and beyond what we're used to as far as like a normal superhero movie goes. Because now we've got Shang-Chi, we've got Spider-Man, which is going to get fucking wackier with the multiverse and everything like that, and then Doctor Strange. And now everything that we did know, good guy punch bad guy, we win! It is no longer as much that. It might still be that, but now it's going to be a whole lot more technical and crazy as far as our minds are going to be expanded on it. Still going to probably be the same. Punch back that good.
I will believe it when it happens.
Yeah.
Just like in this, I won't say how, but death matters in this. For now, I will believe it when the world ends and none of these characters who did die in this come back. But for now, I am optimistic that death may start to matter in these goddamn movies. It only took 10 years.
From there, I do want to say I hope that from here forward is when if we're getting crazier, I hope it's as good as like this. This is like the par.
Yes.
This is the par, and I want it to keep going as far. This is like the pinnacle, and I want it to keep going on the pinnacle.
Yes.
Of how good it could be.
Yeah.
Will I get it? Hopefully, I will.
Well, if you want to know my
not.
opinion, it sounds like No Way Home is going to be more complicated than anyone who's making it is up to snuff for. I could be wrong. I hope they prove me wrong. Whenever I go into these movies, I hope I have an enjoyable experience. It just is often that I'm not. Yeah, I am interested in seeing what they do. It definitely seems like it's going to be different, but I still believe it'll be the basic bad guy punch good guy punch bad guy. Yeah, exactly.
That's all I've got personally to say.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't really want to get into spoilers. I feel like people...
I don't either.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really solid film. Like I said, the best Marvel movie since Thor Ragnarok, if we're talking about ones that aren't just goofy as fucking Taika Waititi. I include Guardians of the Galaxy in there, by the way, because that's pretty funny. It's probably 10, 15 years since we've had a movie, a non-comedic based movie from Marvel this good. Yeah, that's my opinion. I'm going to give this, man, I'm between a 3.5 and a 4. Fuck it, 4. Fine. That's what I get, a 4. 4 out of 5.
Wow. I'm 4.5 for me, actually. I wanted to give it a 5, but those, the tropes that are in there and it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
As far as a Marvel movie goes, yada yada. This was a really good movie, and just definitely recommend watching it in theaters because it was pretty explosive.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to make sure I get his name right. Fuck you, Bob Chapek.